I mean, the miracle of human behavior, and I'll tell you this, it's something that's free will, I don't think is very well understood by anybody. Obviously, I mean, we all know we have it. The real frustration in life is that everybody else has it too. It would be great if only we had it, but nobody has a monopoly on that. But there's a math to it. And it's actually simple to understand. And this is the fundamental difference between managing and leading. And leadership, by the way, happens everywhere. It happens in families. It happens in classrooms. It happens everywhere. Leadership happens if you let it. Yeah. You know, but most people, I think, try to manage. And let me explain that difference. If you have a cell phone, and everybody does these days, then that cell phone is configured and equipped to do a certain range of things. And, you know, as long as it's charged up, when you turn it on, there is a 100% probability it's going to do something. Right? 100%. And I'm going to turn this thing on and it's going to be in my hand and it's going to do something. I know it's going to do something. Well, in those things that it does, there's the probability it'll do what I want it to do. Right? And you could subtract from that the probability that it might do something stupid. It might do something that it might break. It may not do what it's supposed to do, which cell phones do a lot. I mean, they do everything really well except make telephone calls. That's the one thing they don't do reliably at all. So here I am. I've got my cell phone, and I can surf the web, and I can do a billion different things with it. Every now and then, maybe I can call Bork and Yermi and ask them how they're doing, depending on whether I've got a good cell signal or not. So there's really two probabilities. There's the probability that it'll do what I want it to do, and there's this other probability that it'll not do what I want it to do, that it'll disappoint me. Right? That's inanimate objects that don't have free will only have those two. So when I'm trying to make that phone better, making that phone better is about reducing the probability that it'll disappoint me. Lowering that probability, that error term. That's what I do. That's managing the phone. Humans have another probability. They have also the probability to do something that you never expected them to do, that you didn't ask them to do, that was wonderful. An inanimate object lacking free will can never do that. It can only do what it was designed to do.
Right.
That's it. I mean, you might discover a feature in it that you didn't know about, but that's not it spontaneously surprising you. That's you closing a gap in your own knowledge about it. Right? So you take a child, let's say especially an autistic child, a child with special needs. Let's take that in particular. When we focus so much on making that child conform to a model we have in our heads, we're working on that first probability the way we'd work on perfecting a cell phone. Wow. But the second probability, that probability that child might do something wonderful that we never expected, if we're so focused on squashing that first probability that we never allow that second probability to happen, then we've failed in our mission. You have to allow yourself to catch people doing things right. You know, you can't just focus on catching people doing things wrong. There has to be more to it than just disciplining. And that, to me anyway, is a miracle of a human interaction. We have to allow that the people around us may do amazing things. And we have to be prepared to respect, honor, and recognize that when it happens. Because if we don't, we'll get less out of each other. We'll end up with tanks in the Ukraine. I mean, everything that's going on the world stage today is exactly because we're so focused on managing that first probability that the miracle of human life becomes irrelevant to us. We're not even paying attention to that anymore. And that's how we end up with problems like that. And problems like that in families, if that makes sense. So there is a kind of a mathematical basis to all this. And, you know, I hate to quote, believe me, putting equations up on podcasts is probably a dangerous road. But this one only has two coefficients in it. And you know, I mean, getting back to television, the miracle of getting 19 people to watch something is to reinforce in them that what they're about to watch may surprise them. The things these people are going to do will not be things that you can expect they're going to do beforehand. They are going to do things that you don't expect. That's one of the reasons why you watch. So I'm looking for those 4 people using their free will in interesting, creative ways, interacting with each other doing the magic of human life in front of me so that I can tomorrow, when I'm with my friends, talk about it over the water cooler. And that gets my friends to want to watch it next Thursday night. And before you know it, you've got a whole community of people following the antics of these 4 people on Seinfeld every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. And it grows from literally a couple of 100,000 to a couple of million to 20 million over a period of a year and a half, 2 years. That's how quickly it grows. And it's all the joy of living. Everything is about the joy of living. That's what it's all about.